We're back with Senator Ted Cruz from Texas. The CBO report, depending on how you look at this, it's either wonderful or disastrous. One contention is that the immigration bill is going to really, really reduce the deficit, Senator, and it's going to really, really cause economic growth with all of these new employees. Then if you look at the numbers they're talking about, by 2033, 46 million illegals that will be granted citizenship. But they're all going to be, are they not? Most of them going to be low-skilled and lower-educated type people?
Well, you know, if there's one thing Washington knows how to do, it's come up with bogus cost estimates. I mean, we all remember when Obamacare was passed and we were told it would save money, and we've now discovered that it's going to cost trillions and it's only getting worse. You know, the CBO figures just focus on the immediate short-term impact and not the long-term impact, and they just focus on the federal level. So, for example, the proponents of the Gang of Eight say that no one who is here illegally will be eligible for welfare. In the Judiciary Committee, I submitted an amendment, a very simple amendment. It was just a couple sentences that said no one who's here illegally shall be eligible for any means-tested welfare, federal, state, or local. Every Democrat on the committee and the Republican members of the Gang of Eight all voted against it.
Yes, exactly.
And it was, you know, it was very clarifying. When they go and say there's no welfare, why did they vote against a provision that would make it clear? And there are a couple of reasons. Number one, in any given year, we spend roughly $700 billion in federal welfare payments, roughly $300 billion in state welfare payments. If the Gang of Eight bill is passed, the effect would be to immediately take a very large percentage of those 11 million people here illegally and make them eligible for state and local welfare. I mean, tens of billions, if not hundreds of billions of dollars on the states immediately. And then the Gang of Eight bill provides that those here illegally in a few years are eligible for green cards and citizenship, in which case they're eligible for the full panoply of federal welfare benefits. Now, I think we should welcome immigrants from across the globe, but you cannot welcome immigrants with a full welfare state where the incentive is to be dependent on government. We want people coming here who want to achieve the American dream, and this system, this bill, I think would have an enormous cost on the state treasury and also the federal treasury.
That's one of the many things missing, is the assimilation to a distinct and unique American culture. We're balkanizing in this country now. People are coming from wherever. They're staying in those cultures in pockets, population centers across the country. The romantic days of immigration, the early 1900s, those people came here and they remained their identity, kept their identity, but they wanted to be Americans. They wanted to participate in whatever they thought the American dream was. And that's a distinction that can be drawn today.
We are all the children of those who risked everything for freedom. I think that's what unites us as Americans. I'll tell you another impact of this Gang of Eight bill that very few people have focused on, which is if this bill passes, it effectively sets up affirmative action, a strong preference in hiring for those who are here illegally.
Well, we've talked about that because they are going to be exempt for a while from benefits, Obamacare, and welfare benefit rights, and they're cheaper, they're more attractive.
Especially Obamacare. They're exempted from Obamacare. So if you're a small business owner, if you hire an American or if you hire a legal immigrant, you're subject to a $2,000 fine per employee if you're not providing health care under Obamacare, whereas suddenly the 11 million who are granted legalization, it doesn't cost you that. It's a massive economic incentive for employers to not hire Americans or fire Americans in favor of those who are here illegally, and that doesn't make any sense.
Senator, is it true what is said that the people we're talking about now, the 11 million, if the Gang of Eight bill is passed, signed into law, that they won't be able to vote for, 10 or 13 years, whatever? Is that true? Is that what I'm given to understand? They can't vote in addition to everything else?
I mean, that's the current delay to become citizens, although actually for certain categories it's accelerated faster than that.
Yeah, but you don't expect that to hold up, do you? I mean, within a day or two, Senator Schumer is going to find a camera and talk about how discriminatory it is. Here we've just granted these people status. We've just allowed them to come out of the shadows, and it's just unconscionable now that we don't let them vote. And so a whole new amendment might be made to eliminate the 13 years. There's stuff like that, because I don't blame people who have a cynical view like that.
You're absolutely right. That is certainly coming. It's why I've introduced a number of amendments to try to fix this mess. One amendment that I talked about today on the floor of the Senate is an amendment to put real teeth in border security. This bill has no teeth in border security, to triple the Border Patrol, to increase fourfold the helicopters, fixed-wing assets, technology on the border, to put in place a strong biometric exit-entry system.
Those are all voted down.
They have been, and critically, the most important piece is to say secure the border first before any legalization. What this bill gets most fundamentally wrong is it starts with legalization, and then it promises, like Wimpy in Popeye, I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. It promises border security sometime in the future. And we all know the border security ain't never going to come, but the legalization happens immediately.
Senator, the CBO report also has this nugget. They claim, the CBO says that 75% illegal immigration would continue at the level of 75% of current levels. Even with the passage of the bill, that without the border security, you're still going to have 75% influx, what we have now.
Well, and I can tell you what we're seeing right now. We are seeing a massive spike in illegal immigration this past year, and this has happened every time amnesty is discussed. Look, people respond to incentives. If you're in a foreign country, you want to be in America, and you hear, hey, they're getting ready to do amnesty, it's a huge incentive to come illegally. And one of the real tragedies of our system is that you've got hundreds of thousands of men and women entrusting themselves to coyotes, to drug dealers, and every year there are hundreds of women and children who die in the desert, who are sexually assaulted, who are trafficked. I mean, it is a grotesque and inhumane system. And this Gang of Eight bill, if it passes, would increase illegal immigration.
One quick question before we go. I noticed, or I read the other day, that the majority leader, Senator Reid, now seems intent on hurrying up and getting this bill passed by the 4th of July break. Why?
I think, look, I certainly wouldn't presume to speak for Harry Reid, but I think he's starting to get nervous, and I think he's starting to get nervous because the American people are starting to pay attention. In 2007, the American people realized there was a proposal to grant legalization first before securing the border. They spoke up loudly. They picked up the phone. They called their senators. They called their House members. They said, no, we don't want legalization first, then border security, and it killed it. I think Harry Reid is getting nervous. He thinks he has the votes right now. And as I said, there are probably 20 Republican senators on the fence. And the biggest difference your listeners can make is today, tomorrow, the next day, picking up the phone and letting your elected representatives know, don't go down this road. It is politically foolish, and as a policy matter, it would be terrible to the country. It doesn't fix the problem. We need to fix the problem, secure the borders, and improve legal immigration.
Senator Ted Cruz from Texas, I really appreciate your time, Senator. Thanks for giving us a half hour today. It's great, and we wish you the best in your endeavors.
God bless you, Rush, and always keep speaking the truth. Just the more rocks they throw at you, the more good you're doing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Once again, Senator Ted Cruz, Texas, weighing in on the status of the immigration bill, the Gang of Eight bill, and what he thinks the true impetus behind this is. That